Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to day 3, session 2 for the unit Implement and Monitor WHS Policy, Procedure and Program. The unit code is BSBWHS411. This is a very interesting and extremely important topic. How many of you know what is WHS? Either you can unmute and say, or you can write in chat. WHS.
Work health and safety.
Julius, okay, thank you. It was good. Work health and safety. Yep. Oh, you just missed a bit there. Work health and safety. Yeah. Yes, very important. If you guys are sitting in the training room, and you see the wires lying around you, is it a safety? Isn't it a safety bridge? Yeah. So you need to ensure you can make it minimal, those kind of, because that's a potential hazard. Someone will trip over, and trip over could result in a great bigger incident. For example, someone can hit the floor with your head, someone might, hit a desk, and with the eyeball, you don't know, right? What could happen? So you have to ensure you're always following any work health and safety policy, procedure, or any advice on that. Okay. This also reminds me, have you guys done the mock fire drill or not yet? From Karina, have you done it? Yes, no.
I think.
Okay, where Karina will take you into some exit. Oh, Wilson says not yet. Someone says yes. Okay, I will ask Karina then. In that case, that's fine. That's something. Just give me 1 minute. So I'll forget that thing. Mock fire drill is conducted for every batch because it will be too late to tell you where are the emergency exits when you really need it, isn't it? Right? You don't know. Some of us not yet. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so I'll let Karina know, and she will, get back to all of you. If it's done, if you haven't done it, at least, you should be aware where is the emergency exit, sorry, and how, safely you can get there. Okay, for this room, as far as I believe, it's towards my right-hand side, and yeah, it's towards the other end. Yeah. Where you guys enter in the classroom. I think that's the emergency exit. Okay, right. Another one was a fire extinguisher use. Right? How many of you know how to use a fire extinguisher? There is one at the back wall. Yeah, behind Hugh. In the back wall where you have your canteen stuff, the coffee and everything. Yeah. How many of you have used it? I mean, if you know how to use it. Yeah, it would be too late for just behind Julius. Isn't there one just behind Julius in that room?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Oh, he's going and checking it. You don't have to do it now. What is it? Is he going for
The headphone.
headphone and everything? Okay, that's fine. I thought no, he's going right now and demonstrating. No, that's not required if he's doing so.
No,
But yeah, behind Julius in that room, there is a fire extinguisher. I'll play a quick video that's only 1 or 2 minutes. There is only one, yes, fire extinguisher. Yep. There's only one thing. It's called PASS rule. Pull the pin, aim at the base, swipe the nozzle and squeeze and swipe. Yeah, PASS, right? pass. That's very easy to pass and fail. We know that word very well. Yeah, is to pull the pin, right? Aim at the base, swipe. Oh, sorry, squeeze comes first. Squeeze, and finally comes swipe. That's it. I'll play one video, and it's very, very quick. Again, it will be too late to learn how to operate a fire extinguisher when there is a real danger or real there is a fire, because our mind doesn't process as effectively as it can now and in the danger situation, right? That's a health and safety concern. Okay, so Karina will conduct that mock drill around lunchtime, so please be around. I mean, she will inform all of you when it's to be done. Yeah. Yes. So how do you sit in a classroom? Do you sit like this, or do you have your back straight when you're sitting? Yeah. And how do you place the laptop or the monitor screen? I mean, this is a very short duration, but in your actual workplace, right? So there are some postures that you need to do. That was a WHS screen angle. I mean, we can always talk about theory a lot, but I wanted to tell you the practical aspect of WHS, work health and safety. How far should you sit? How should be the angle? So for example, this fellow has a great thing. See, your feet has to be straight, and if you can't, then it has to be like this. Yeah? The back has to be straight as far as possible. Yeah, you should be able to reach mouse very closely, very clearly. So these are some of the things. See, that's a screen distance, right? Document in the midline. I mean, this is how your screen should be. Okay, and if you can't reach the bottom, you can have something like this, but keep your back straight, keep that one as straight as possible. And this one, see, the feet are flat on the surface. Okay, this is how your desk height should be. From your viewing angle, it should be exactly straight. Okay, this kind of chair is called ergonomic environment. Ergonomic screen or mouse. They're like a fancy mouse, with all that thing, right? Ergonomic keyboard as well, ergonomic chair as well. Okay, you don't have to spend a fortune. It's just $100, sometimes $120, $200, right? They will support your back if you are sitting on those back for a longer duration. Anyone who has to stand for a longer hours, standing, mate. Yes, something like this. I used to have a standing job during my uni days. Once I stand on this and once I stand without it, you will see a great difference in your fatigue level, right? Because this takes up the pressure of the body that you apply on it. So if you are, and again, it's like $40, even if you convert into Solomon dollar, that's like $150, $200. I can't comment whether it's a lot or not. You need to justify whether it's a lot or not if you are standing for that many hours. Okay, and again, ask your employer to sponsor one. You don't have to pay from your pocket, right? There are many, many versions of them. Okay, so these are some of the work health and safety requirement that everybody should follow. Other thing, the great part, just tell me how many of you know this word, manual handling. How many of you know this word, manual handling? Anyone? Yeah. Never bend your back. This is wrong. I mean, you should keep it closer, keep it straight as far as possible, right? And there are so many. See, this is a better one. The person is sitting, only the knees are bent, the back says straight, lift it and put it. Don't put it above your shoulder height, which we normally might be doing, but that's not accurate. That's not correct. Yeah, put it at your shoulder height. I mean, if it's, I mean, there is also something like less than 5 kg, more than 5 kg. If it is just an empty box, you can put it on a higher shelf. But if it's 15, 20 kg, never above your shoulder height, right? So there are so many work health and safety requirements that everyone must be doing, right? What is WHS duty? It's everyone's responsibility. Never leave it on your employer to take care of your work health and safety things, okay? How do you operate your tool, whether it's pull versus push, you know, manual lifting and many other part of it. Okay. So I'm going to share some of the link. That's one of them. Safe Work Australia is a government thing. So they will have good information about manual handling and everything. Ergonomic chair. Some of it is, don't worry about it. I'm just sharing. The screen requirement is another one. You know, that's fine. This is another one. Yeah. How you should set up your station, how you should work, you know, all that kind of thing. Okay. So this is what we are going to learn. I mean, we are not going to see just the basic. We are going to talk about more policy, the procedure, and a lot of other things. Okay. Again, WHS is work, health, and safety, which is everyone's responsibility. If you see something is not safe, you have to raise it to your employer. That I don't think is a safe practice to do. I won't do it. Or if at all something happens, that's your responsibility. You should flag it at least. Right. So what we are doing here is understand the workplace health and safety legislation, understand policy and procedure, employer and employees' responsibility, some committee and WHS officer, accident in a workplace, and some safety conduct a risk assessment. Another thing, sorry, it's a safety hazard. I just thought of it because I have seen it's a normal practice in many countries, but it's not up here. In here, when you go, when you go and to a fuel station, of course, you are filling on your own. That's to start with, and you need to have approved jerry cans, right? You cannot go take a water bottle or a water can and say, oh, I'll fill it inside. No, the store operator inside will not allow you to fill it. It's a biggest safety hazard. Okay. Sorry, I just know something that I've seen people using like this, which is not safe. If anyone is doing it, stop doing it now, like literally now. Yeah. You don't know how much hazard it can bring, like kerosene or petrol or all that kind of thing. Nah, never. Right? Don't do it. Okay.
Dushant,
Yes, please.
it's just commenting on that lady's example which you just shown us there. I can tell you for a fact, for your information, that's like the everyday things.
Cool. So you need to understand the WHS requirement from the employer point of view. So there is an act, Work Health and Safety Act. Act and regulation are the law, part of the law. Then from that follows the non-monetary standard. Okay. Then comes the Australian standard, then comes the industry standard and guidance note. The Act is supported by regulation, courts of practice, a system of advice, compliance, education, inspection, fines, and prosecution. Recently, Queensland government started giving fines to anyone who is handling mobile while driving. The rule was there. You shouldn't touch your mobile. It should be on a stand, you know. You shouldn't operate while you are driving. And if you need to take calls, take it via hands-free device like this or via Bluetooth stereo. You're not picking your phone and hello, 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 you know, those stupid things. I mean, don't do that. Yeah, but people are still doing it. As long as fine was introduced, that's it. You see a drastic decrease in the accidents on road. This is how our brain works. This is how we are wired. Yeah. Who decide all this thing? There is a department, government department. In here is called Transport and Main Roads. They have statistics, they have data. They'll run on it, you know, and they'll see number of fines issued and everything, and number of accident you know, when you see the investigate, you know, even if a murder is done, the specialist will be able to recognize what was the cause of murder, whether it's suicide, whether it's a committed planned action or what. Same thing, whenever there is an accident on road, the expert will be able to analyze the cause of accident, right? Most of them was driving fatigue and, you know, mobile and all that thing. Yeah, so that has to be controlled. Yeah, as long as we are issued fine, bang. Yeah. So there is a bit of reading which I'm not doing. You know, I'll share it as a slide. Okay. Just put everyone on a mute. If you need to speak, please unmute it. Yeah. Right. The Commonwealth Health and Safety Act 2011 imposed penalty for individual and others who, by their act or omission, put others at risk. In my one of the previous employment, what happened was, it was a high-rise building. I think it was 20-floor building, if I recall it correctly. And since you are living in a building, there are the routine fire inspection. They will come and check, have you blocked your fire exit? You cannot ever block the fire exit. It puts the person at least 5,000 or 10,000 fine, the employee who is in charge, the WHS employee, and to the employer company, it's about 100 or 150,000 fine. So whenever there was an infection, my boss would always ensure that there is a clear access to the fire exit, at least for time being. Why? Because otherwise they will get fined. Apart from that, I mean, you keep on telling, but if you don't have a room, you squeeze it out and, you know, block it. Yeah. It could be up to 300,000. A person conducting a business who act recklessly can be 600,000 or given 5 years imprisonment, or both, depends on the severity. Once you hear this number, you will not ever dare to risk WHS, right? And people have got with. Yeah, there are many incidents. You can go online and check as well. WHS legislation can make a workplace only as safe as its safety culture determines. The total economic cost of work-related injury in Australia for 2012-2015 financial year, I think it's 2013, was estimated to be $60.6 billion. Okay, now let me convert that to SI dollar. $330 Solomon Island. Sorry. Yeah, $330 billion. That was the amount of claim. Someone would have paid it. It could be government department, could be private company. Just imagine this much money invested for the betterment of world. At least 1 or 2 countries will be out of poverty and hunger for a couple of years. That's my guarantee. Yeah, why? Because people didn't act properly. People didn't follow, employee didn't follow, employer didn't follow what they should be, isn't it? Yeah. 72% injury were males. Biggest disability was deafness, loss or limb of deafness, and some burns. In 2018, 144 people died from work-related deaths in Australia. Which injury? Which industry? Mostly construction. Yeah, because they work on heights. Mining was another one. Employer must provide and maintain safe workplace, safe method, safe equipment, maintain the equipment. If you're using company car, then you need to ensure the car is safe. You're giving it back in a safe condition, no reckless driving because you're driving company car. And any PPE, personal protective equipment, and first aid. Let me try to make this bigger. Can I? No. Yes. So clean, sanitized water, as proper uniform, dumping of rubbish well, proper tools if you're using any bicycle, all that kind of thing. So time. Right. Employer responsibility is a management committee, hazard management, some consultation, some training, some employee welfare, accident injury, incident reporting system as well. Employee should be able to report any work health and safety concern to the employer. They must have rehabilitation and return to work program for employee injured on job. Always aim to get back in a workplace as quickly as possible. Home workers' health and safety steps you can take to look after workers working from home. Encourage home workers to create a separate work area at home. Ensure home offices are made safe and free from hazard. Ensure teleworkers report WHS concern and incident to you. Smoke detector, provide a self-assessment checklist for home worker to use periodically and conduct safety audit with them when practical. Now, policy and procedure. How accidents are prevented and investigated. How people on premises are protected. Safe operation process, someone call it standard operation practice, SOP, NEPP, personal protective equipment, hazard reduction, safety reporting, and training and education. What is leader manager's responsibility? They must induct the new employees. So if you are joining in a company, your manager, your boss should induct you. By induction, we're making you aware, like I just told Karina, and she said she will do it a long time, because that fire drill is very important. Okay, ensure that all employees understand all the WHS obligation, meeting any training need. Okay, communicate WHS matter, act as a positive role model. Okay, now I'm gonna to close many of this because I shared a lot of. I wanted to quickly play that video before I forget about the fire extinguisher. That's the one.
For putting out a fire. In this video, we'll teach you how to properly use a fire pass method for putting out a fire. In this video, we'll teach you how to properly use a fire extinguisher using the pass method. When fire strikes at your workplace, be sure to follow these 3 steps. Step 1. Check to make sure the fire extinguisher you have on hand is the correct type of extinguisher to extinguish the type of fire. Type A is used for ordinary combustibles such as wood and paper. Type B extinguishers are used on flammable liquids like gasoline and oil. Type C is for electrical fire, so they can be used on faulty outlets and appliances. Type D is used on flammable metals such as magnesium and titanium. And Class K extinguishers are used when fires involve cooking media, fats, grease, and oils. All commercial cooking sites such as restaurants need this extinguisher. If you don't feel you can safely put out the fire, exit the building immediately. Step 2. With the extinguisher in hand, step 6 to 8 feet away from the fire. Step 3. Use the pass method to put out the fire. P. Pull the pin so that you're able to discharge the extinguisher. A. Aim the extinguisher nozzle at the base of the fire. S. Squeeze the lever to discharge the extinguishing agent. Releasing the lever will stop the discharge. S. Sweep. Pointing the extinguisher at the base of the fire, move the extinguisher from left to right or back and forth in a sweeping motion until the fire is out. When the fire is out, continue to watch the fire to ensure the fire does not ignite once again. If the fire comes back, repeat the pass method. Recap: P. Pull the pin. A. Aim. S. Squeeze. And S. Sweep. Remember, fires can be harmful and fatal, so do not put the fire out yourself unless it's safe to do so. At CQ Fire and Safety, we are a one-stop shop for your fire and safety needs, keeping business OSHA compliant and up to NFPA standards. For more info, visit www.cqfireandsafety.com.
That's it. It literally took 2.5 minutes, and that was very well explained. Like I said, PASS, remember that. Okay, but touch wood, you shouldn't use it ever, but it's so simple. But still, we are not aware with the simple WHS compliance. Yeah, not blaming anyone, never like that, but most of you are manager. You should take care of WHS responsibility of him. Don't worry about what everyone else is doing. You cannot change them. The first change should come within you, and then you can expect others to follow you, right? We can always play the blame game, oh, because no one else does this to us and this and that, and because the system is not there. You are the system. You are the manager. Some of you are principal. Some of you are higher in authority. Yeah, make that change. That's why you are here. Yeah, to learn something new, to change something in a better way, right? Right, so yep, that's the same thing. Work health and safety culture, some training, lead by example, resource provision, consultation. Now, responsibility of the employee. Duty of care to self and the others. That's employee's responsibility. Cooperate with the employee and supervisor and others to ensure safety. Use PPE. PPE is personal protection equipment. It could be safety with like this, or steel cap shoes, or a hat, all that thing. Yeah, you need to have this vest all the time, even if you're working in a garden outside. Yeah, if you're lawn mowing, use that, protective equipment for the ears, like a headset. Yeah. Follow any safety instruction and report any hazard. Employees should not be affected by drug or alcohol while at work. Follow safety procedure, use equipment provided, and follow any instruction concerning WHS. Please read this slide. Thank you. assessing the risk and new procedure, deciding how to consult, eliminate and minimize risk, implement regulation, provide information and training. Like I just trained you on a fire extinguisher one, right? Karina will conduct the mock training of, grill, resolving WHS issue, identify hazard and assessing the risk. Now, many big companies will have a WHS officer assigned to take care of any WHS need. Their responsibility will be advise and guide the staff, conduct safety audit, examine plants and equipment, help leader manager to develop safety plans, investigate accident incident, keep and monitor incident incidents record and statistics. Right? It's all about recording the numbers and incident. Same thing, I mean, a bit more. Test the fire emergency activity, serve as a technical advisor, report to any advice to the management on a safety concern. Understanding accident. The cost of accidents are high, sometimes very high, and it includes the following. Production is held up, right? If someone got an accident, you can't just say, okay, move him to hospital, but we still continue doing the production because you don't know what caused that accident. So some technical experts should come, visit the plant, right, and ensure that the machine is safe. Okay. Damaged property, machinery, equipment may have to be repaired. Time loss, they are called away from whatever they are doing, so that compromise their workload as well. Staff and their work may be needed to be reorganized, replacement to be done, time spent investigating the cause, medical expense, legal cost, any replacement labor hire costs are also incurred. Plus any insurance amount claimed that a person might the $60.6 billion, right, is a claim money. What has cost the country. There are some hidden costs as well: lower morale, pain and suffering, loss of enjoyment, permanent disability, blah, blah, blah. The high price of accident. There is some effect on an employee, family, work colleagues, community, and on the whole country itself. What causes accident is an activity. I would like to know some input for this one. What causes accident? Anyone? Ignorance, yes. That's attitude, well said. Thank you. Lessness, yeah. No proper training and knowledge transfer. Very good. Thank you. Yes. Anyone else? Either Hugh is typing or Hugh is asking Google. Are you asking Google? Stupidity, environment. Okay. Less awareness. And I like the one ignorance and attitude, lack of planning, lack PPE, that's good. Yeah. Someone has an attitude problem, and I've seen it in many culture, don't take it personally ever. But if your boss is female and you are a strong male, then you feel like, oh, who is she to tell me? I know what I'm doing, kind of attitude. Yeah. No proper training, yes. Lack of planning, yes. No PP being used. You feel that, oh, you are safe, and that's what we learn in Corona, isn't it? Many people who say, oh, I'm immune and my immunity is stronger, they have died because of virus. Okay. So, I mean, you shouldn't, if you're brave, you are brave. You don't have to show it off that I'm brave and not taking, vaccination can still spare me. That is stupidity. That is extreme stupidity. Yeah. Your employer should give you all the training and equipment and PPE. Your job is to follow the instructions. Simple. So these are some of it: inadequate training, supervision, poorly planned workplace, poor safety culture, machinery equipment. They are really old, rusty, poor job design, poor housekeeping, personal factors such as stress and everything. Output goals are too high, so you try to work faster. And once you work faster, you lose the attention, right? Some miscellaneous conditions such as weather. If it is rainy and you drive at the normal speeds, obviously the chances of getting accident is higher. And incorrect work practices is another one. What to do in event of accident, incident, injury? Reconstruct the chain of events leading up to it, so you can pinpoint the factors that contributed. Now you have to work backward. If incident happened, what caused that incident? Interview witness of the event, person involved, to get the fact and hear their view what led up to the event. Conduct your investigation, leave everything exactly it was in the event took place, especially in the case of serious injury. Record the accident, incident, injury, write a report summarizing your investigation, finding, file it according to your organization's protocol. For every major injury or fatality, there are 10 minor injuries. And if you still keep on ignoring them, that will result into a major injury or fatality. 30 lost time incident, 100 minor accident, and 600 near miss. What do you mean by near miss is like, you know it, but you just, still try to avoid it. For example, slippery floor. We know it's a slippery floor. You have to be cautious or try to cover it up. If you don't, then same thing about the petrol jerry can. Like I said, we know it could pose some problem, but still we use it. 600 of such on an average, that's what the number state shows, will lead to a major injury. Ignore us when we have the knowledge, but just maybe carelessly or just stupid enough to ignore that links to negative attitude, have no duty of care. Good say, Michael. Right, who is under more risk? Juniors, trainee, young employee, complacent employee, and casual employee. Why? Because they take things as granted. This is what we were saying in the chat as well. Yeah, because they say, oh, it's all right, Right. Risk assessment for WHS in the workplace. There are steps which you can reduce. The steps to conduct WHS risk assessment in your workplace. Step 1, identify and describe 8 possible hazards that can be found in a workplace. Even sitting in a classroom, you can find out some hazard, right? Like the cable, like I said. Yeah, if there is not enough ventilation, yes, that could be one hazard as well, right? Explain hazard and associated risk, likelihood and consequence table, which I'm going to talk in a while. Yeah, rate the risk for each of the hazard. Hierarchy of control, again, I'll talk about it. Re-evaluate the risk after control has been in place. Document new risk rating after control have been implemented. Okay, this is likelihood and consequences table. What it says, likelihood is rare, unlikely, possible, likely, and almost certain. Okay, consequences, insignificant, minor, moderate, major, and catastrophic. If we are living in a flood zone, right, then obviously the chances of flood is almost certain if it rains. Yeah, And if you're further down, like really, in Australia, it's like bumpy road all the time, like up the hill, down the hill, like Minor Hill, this is how it is. Then if you're living at the bottom of the road, then all the rain will come. The catastrophic effect can be observed. But here, like top of the hill, the consequences can be insignificant, minor. Why? Because all the rain water will be drained through the draining system, right? And then rare is 1, insignificant is 1. 1 times 1 is 1, right? This is how it's been done. This 1 is 1 times 1. This 12 or this 6, for example, it is in 2. This one is possible, so 3. 2 times 3 is 6, right? This is high. Why? Because it is in a catastrophic effect and possible likelihood, so 3 times 5. Yeah, so these numbers will tell you that, oh, it's 25, the highest you can have. And the color, green is smooth and calm, is everything low. The yellow is moderate, the orange is high, and red is catastrophic. Okay, you should identify all the risk possible and put it in this table, like it says, likelihood consequences table, rate the risk score for each of the hazard, okay, which you'll be doing as a part of assessment as well. Then we got a hierarchy of control. How you can minimize or literally remove the risk is by following the effectiveness from the most effective to the least effective. Elimination works best. Physically remove the hazard. Then substitute. Then comes engineering control. Then comes admin control. And then finally comes the PPE. You'll be surprised to find the coronavirus, the COVID altogether. Most of us are still relying on PPE, I mean. Yeah, mask, sanitizing, it's all protective places, right? It would be more effective if we would change how people work. That's called admin control. It would be even better if you could isolate people from the hazard. And that's why we have a lockdown. Substitute and elimination, everyone is working on it. But getting vaccination is another thing. Yeah. Can you physically remove the virus? No, it's going to stay for a couple of years. Replace, we don't need to replace the virus, but we can get immunized, and that will increase our chance at least of not dying from it. That's a sure thing. It doesn't guarantee that we won't catch the virus. Yes, we can, but the severity won't be that. The symptoms will be mild, and dying is a far thing. Yeah, so that's called hierarchy of control. This is a very bad example, but I had to choose something bad so I can really, talk about that one. Right. Someone carrying a bunch of file without seeing, long leg, dripping water, opening the door. There's a ladder which is short, someone behind the door, opening the door, changing, using a chair, drawers are open, like a lot of things, carrying something which you can't, seats are wide open, right? The carpet is ripped apart, the wire lying like this. There's a lot of safety hazard. Hazard is something that has potential to harm you. Risk is the likelihood of a hazard causing the harm. So that's an hazard. You spot a shark, and when you're with shark, swimming with the shark, obviously the likelihood is a lot higher. The hierarchy of control ranks the control. We already seen that. That's fine. Why is it happening twice? Okay, that's funny. Now, we have to have all the controls. I'm going to talk about all the 5 things, the hierarchy of control thing. So what is a hazard? What is a risk? You have a cave, there is a coal. In order to take out the coal, what you'll have to do is put a fire here, like a bombing thing, right? You'll blast it. Okay, that's the situation. This is a mountain. This is the peak of the mountain. Elimination, use explosive to remove the roof of the clay. That's elimination. This can fall off. You remove the roof, and then you can take out the coal very easily. Substitution, use a remote control trigger to get the coal. So you have a bombing thing, but you are staying really far. That's your substitution method, replacing it with something else. Engineering control, you put support in a place, change how you work. Yeah. Admin control, you put a signage there that, oh, there is a risk, right? And finally, PPE, you wear the helmet and still go inside, and protective equipment. So we know here which one is more effective to the least effective one. Yeah, obviously PPE and everything is least effective because risk is still there. You're just putting a helmet. Doesn't mean, you might save your head, but what about you? You're still in danger, right? So these are the 5 steps. We know which one works better with a very nice picture that's been explained. That's it. Yeah, so what we learned today is understanding WHS policy, responsibility, committee, accident in a workplace, and some risk assessment and safety. Any question, concern?